Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. So I've done a bit of testing with Geralt in the guild trials and testing him out and seeing how he works. Now, there's some situations where he works incredibly well, and I was quite impressed. Now, as you go up higher in deficit, so in this one, the enemies are level 590. We're currently rank 1 on the test server, but you can definitely beat this if you use more meta comps. I always like to use not just full meta comps because I like to experiment, do something different. But with this one, enemies are 230 levels above us, and at this level, he dodges a lot, like does a lot of dodging and can actually live a long way. Now, the unfortunate thing in the guild trials is you can't just repeat stages because it's like fixed RNG. So to mix it up, you got to swap positions, swap artifacts, stuff like that. And it makes a big difference. But we ended up getting there. So let's jump into it. I'll just jump into it through here because I got the team saved and show you what I used. Now, this first team, I was just going off that whole idea of using chicken and queen. The idea is to, like, you'll find this theme a lot through the teams that I used, is the idea was to use him with enemies grouped up so that he can cleave harder with his rend and whirl abilities and get more damage output. Now in this one I use Joker as the tech support to get the stuns. Obviously we've got the queen and chicken core combo, and then I thought I'd put the Screg in there to see if the Screg could actually, you know, give us some more oomph behind the team, but I'm pretty sure Screg dies really early on anyway. Now, just note that I do have my level 6 Polar Beast in this one. I just thought, you know, between Queen, between Geralt freezing, also Joker doing his stuns, I figured we'd have a good chunk of CC. We've also got CC from Screg, which means we can reduce the cooldowns of the Polar Beast pretty quickly. So that's why I put him in there. So just keep note, a lot of people may not have the Polar Beast for this one, but let's take a look. Yeah, as you can see, let's put on 2x speed. I feel like 2x speed is a fair speed. Let's go here. So yeah, Screg dies really quickly, so he's out of it for this one, and that's pretty much all there is to it. But as you can see, because we're playing a lot of CC, the Polar Beast does jack up there pretty quickly. Now I did have the Joker on the Tali because even though there was only 2 Maulers, I felt like they were the biggest threats that I wanted to CC with Joker. So that's why I put him on there, even though he wasn't effectively hitting as many characters. But as you can see, like the dodge, the immune that keeps rolling through Geralt, I think like when he's maxed out at like this 230 deficit, he gets so many dodges if you just watch above his head. And then when he finally does get hit, he gets the immunity up and then he can do some more dodges. He does it really well. Once I was testing at like 300 level deficit though, he just wasn't dodging enough. That's why I found. So that's why we're doing this one at a 230 to show you where he can work. Now, as for damage, as you can see, like Joker outshined him. Chicken did about the same. Polar Beast, did you do any damage? No, you didn't. But like Joker and Chicken aren't really, like Chicken can often do decent damage. Joker's not one that people often consider as a high damage dealer. So the fact that he's doing less than them, or he's less than Joker, a little bit more than Chicken. You know, I feel like he's just got a little bit further to go with his damage numbers. I feel like they just need a little bit of a buff. I just feel like he's not doing quite enough, in my personal opinion. So that is going to be the first battle that we look at. So let's jump in here into battle 2. Now, this one I do have my lava guy, but he's only level 1. So just, you know, I just slapped him in there. Now, this one was a bit of a different idea. As you can see, I went for the grouping idea using Frampton as well to get the enemies close together so that he could rend and whirl harder on them. Then I put the Awakened Brutus because the Awakened Brutus can punt the Zafrael before he teleports, so that's really handy. Then I put Totem Dude because I didn't want, like, you know, I was trying to avoid using Kren in this team, but I ended up having a lot of losses on this one without Kren, so I just threw Kren in because, you know, we're cheap and we wanted an easy win. So I apologize. I wanted to use the Frampton to do the group up thing. Anyway, the grouping up kind of helps Kren anyway. It's not an ideal team, but, you know, we had to cheat and use the Kren. So let's go in and take a look. So as you can see, we punt the Zafrael with the Brutus early, which is really, really handy. And then we get them all grouped up. So his Whirl and Rend should be hitting a bit more, but he does stay relatively low against that Izol, so it didn't quite work perfectly the way I'd planned. But now they are pretty well grouped up. The Frampton, also we've got the Brutus who does his Whirlwind and groups up as well. So the grouping capabilities working with him, I really do like. As you can see, just the dodge immunity on top of his head, on top of the Geralt is really nice. All those dodges and immunities, absolutely fantastic. And then we look at damage. You can see, honestly, it was quite a spread between the team in damage-wise. Keeping up with an Awakened Brutus is actually not too bad. I feel like a Brutus brings a lot more to the table than Geralt if they're at even damage, but still, it wasn't too bad. I was quite impressed with that. Frampton doing a lot, Kren doing a decent bit of damage as well. So that is that one. Let's go. And normally Kren like really outshines damage, so the fact that we had other core damage dealers was quite nice. Probably meant that by the time Kren was ulting, we'd already done a good chunk of damage, and that's sort of what was reflecting in that one. Then as we move on to the next one, here we've got the crit one. He's level 13, the Grassy Orb. Now, the idea behind this one is once again to group up enemies. Like I said, it's going to be a theme. The only thing we really have to group up is the Odin. I was going to do Ulna with him, but I thought at this deficit, he is dodging a lot and we might not need the Ulna. And I'm just a big fan of Hodgkin in general. He's another one that just struggles at those like super high 300 level deficits, but at this 230, I mean, he does pretty well. Then we've just got the key healer in Silas, and then we've got the Pharrell for the extra support in this one. Unfortunately, the grouping up idea didn't really work because there's a Screg, and you'll see that Geralt probably just attacked the Screg the whole time, and he's like the last one surviving. So it wasn't the greatest. The plan didn't work. It didn't go to plan, but we won, so who cares? And as you can see, Geralt up the top there, he's getting healed quite nicely, but like, he gets low and he just hangs in there. You can see all the dodges and the immunities and the because he got his shield as well. So there's another dodge. He just manages to survive pretty well, surprisingly, and that injection goes into Pharrell, so he didn't even get the injection there, but he still just keeps on going and just survives, which is pretty nice. I was quite impressed in this battle with Geralt on how he did, and I was quite satisfied with the way it ended up turning out, but there we go. See, as you can see, they're all grouped up down the bottom, and then we have Geralt standing up there on the top, just smacking into that that Screg, which is quite unfortunate because if he was down the bottom, I feel like we would have got a lot more damage out of him. But hey, it is what it is, and you get what you're given. So that's how the battle ended up. I wasn't going to redo it to make it work the way we wanted to because I just wanted to clutch a victory. You know how it is. Clutch save on the Hodgkin there by Silas, which is quite nice as well. It wasn't like a flawless battle, but hey, you guys know how it is. We're trying to avoid the fullest extent of the full meta. So, you know, this is what we do. And eventually we do knock them out. And that is going to be it. I don't even know who's up the top that we're attacking there. I can't even see it. But, you know, it was quite close in the end. Not the greatest, but, you know, it's a victory. We'll take it. And there you go. Odin like died early. He just dominates that damage. And like when Odin died that early, like, but once again, I feel like if we had Geralt on the stacked targets, we would have been pretty good on the damage. It's just the fact that he attacked the Screg. So kind of, I do think he would have been up there with Odin's damage, which would have been quite respectable, but you know, didn't work out the way I planned it, but hey. We got the W, that's all that matters. Moving on from that one. Okay, so this one was one I was thinking about. Once again, using the Pippa with that idea of being able to group enemies. At the 230 level deficit, we can get away with the damage mitigation that what's a star provides. Like, it's actually solid at this stage. Also, we got the double healers with both having double big damage. The other thing that I was aiming for in here was the fact that you know, we've got Solus's awakening ability, which is going to give us that attack buff as well and allow us to deal more damage. So it was kind of like, you know, we're kind of trying to group with the slow portals, away we go. I did have to tech in the Lawson into this one because I was just getting soloed by Orthros every battle that I was trying. Like, we were living fine. Like, this team lives really well, but the Orthros was just timing us out every time. So that's why I put the Lawson in there to get the link. And then, you know, I had some artifacts on, and then the Orthros would die before the Zolrath, and then we'd lose on the second battle. We finally found a team that worked to get the Orthros down just before the Zolrath and actually get the victory. So as you can see, look at him at the front there, just dodge, immune, dodge, like just all the dodges, all the immunities. It's fantastic. He drinks his potion there. Now he goes into Berserk mode. As you can see, like, I really like this team. I know if you're pushing like the max deficit that any player in the game ever does, you know, it's going to struggle, but I feel like it's quite solid. It's got a lot of healing, a lot of damage. Both Awakened Solace and a Star can do some really solid damage along with heaps of healing. And honestly, you know, Pippa's got that bit of control, and then Geralt's got a bit of extra CC and damage, and he's just a decent tank at this stage in this one. And, you know, we go and clutch the win. I actually really like this team. This was probably like my favorite team of the bunch that we used. As you can see, Solace doing most of the damage. You know, Pippa doing that much damage compared to Geralt makes me kind of sad, but, you know, it's what we're dealing with. So that's what we got. So moving on to the final battle. We'll jump into this one. This one was a team that was suggested to me by Acero over on Discord. So massive shout out to Acero. He gave me this team to use. I actually really do like this team as well. Now this guy's only level 2, so he's not doing too much in this fight. So Baba Yaga actually does really solid damage. She's got the extra life and stuff, which is good. She got the extra CC, which is fantastic. Now this one we are using Yennefer in it as well. Now I think these two have great synergy, and I think we'll find more teams that use both of them, but obviously for this we could only use one. We got Merlin in there for the mitigation and the safety, and then obviously we're going to bring the what's her face, the Albedo in there to get the buffs for having dimensionals on our team. It's a 5-dimensional. We get a good faction bonus, all that good stuff. This is actually, I do really like this team. I think this is a fantastic team. And if you look at Baba Yaga, I just think she does really solid. You know, we keep them at bay really well. Once you put Yennefer and Geralt in a team, you just keep them pushed back so long, keep them stunned. That like they do synergize really well together if you can keep them alive. And then on top of that, you know, we do get that extra damage to both of them because we're using the Albedo. We get the extra mitigation, and this team actually just functions like this is just a really solid team. Massive shout out to Zero for this one because it's like I actually really do like this team. I think that team could push really high deficits. It's just like once you hit that threshold of, you know, now you're not dodging enough, and that's where it becomes a pain. But that one, once again, not a bad fight. You can see Geralt and Yennefer both doing solid damage. Baba Yaga actually topping the charts there. I just think from this testing with Geralt, he's more of like a dodge tank with some CC and a bit of extra damage. He's never going to be like your solo damage dealer. He's not going to be your main carry damage dealer in a team, but if you can bring some other damage dealers that have some added effects, that's where he's really going to shine. Once again, this was at a 230 level deficit in here. I definitely think if you run just straight meta comps, you'd be able to get much higher in this, but I was just trying to find more unique teams for him in this one. I'll experiment with Yennefer over the next day or so and try and get, you know, some more team comps for Yennefer as well. But that is Geralt. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.